Cheers. Hey, here's a story for Saturday, January 2, 2021. Once there was a man, no, a woman, a woman who wanted to be a bachelor button when all her family wanted was for her to be a lawyer. Your gift of gab, they'd say, will make you a fine lawyer. We could have a lawyer in the family. We could be so proud. It's the furthest nonsense for you to want to become a bachelor button. And, they said, trying to humor her, if you're going that far, why not a rose, or for gosh sake, a peony? Or couldn't you just settle for wearing a bachelor button behind one ear, or perhaps making a necklace of bachelor buttons? She didn't care for these arguments, even though she secretly conceded it might be a ridiculous ambition. But her family had scrimped for years to support their dream for her, so she took her gift for gab and she went to law school, where she met a classmate who was a ridiculous dreamer like herself. The whole thing came out one day in the library where he was sitting across from her. He slammed his textbook shut, let out a heavy sigh, and muttered that he still wanted to be a buttercup. He saw her staring directly at him with the comprehensible empathy on her face. He spoke naturally to her, as her expression showed a kind understanding. He said, "My parents tried to get me on medication, but I refused, and my concession was to let myself be taken off to law school instead. And," he said, "here I am." "And here we are," said Miss Bachelor Button. The day came in their course of studies when they had to argue a case of right-mindedness in moot court, arguing on behalf of someone who insisted she was an international spy, although she spent her whole working life in a bakery. Her family wanted her to be ordered into psychiatric care for, they said, claiming something she was not. Yet she held her job at the bakery, making excellent croissants. She was very good at it and brought home her regular pay. The only time she was ever a spy was at Halloween, when she would put on what she thought was a spy costume, or what she thought a spy costume would look like. Also, she read a lot of spy novels. Just imagination. Such a rich imagination. She said she was a spy to her customers with a twinkle in her eyes, because the tales about spies transported her. They seemed much more exciting than making croissants in a pastry shop, no matter how delighted her customers were. Well, the bachelor button woman and the buttercup man argued in moot court that she knew exactly who she was based on her work history and dependability on the job and at home, that she had a right to the freedom of her imagination, and that dressing occasionally in costume, cosplay, was a great outlet, that she wasn't hurting anyone, and moreover, her family needed to just chill and stop trying to control what did not belong to them in the first place. At the end of the argument, the two law students won their case. The judge's decision was in favor of the croissant baker cosplay spy. In the process of preparing their argument, they realized they had been missing out on cosplay. Well, they did complete their law degrees and then, in a stunning yet somehow predictable decision, went on to, wait for it, Clown College, where they graduated with flying colors. Then they paired together as clown buskers. They were making a fine living as the three Bs, Bachelor, Button, and Buttercup. As it happened, one day a big shot TV producer caught their busking act and offered them a deal. Yes, they got their own TV series. Furthermore, they negotiated fantastic contracts with the TV production conglomerate because they were trained lawyers. So they got their own TV series. And eventually, later on, they came out with a line of Bachelor Button and Buttercup dolls that sold millions. The kids loved them, and they were forever happy. The end.